So I'm going to share with you an example of a gamulation this morning, and I want to preface it by saying that the reason that we do this is because this kind of learning environment, this kind of interactive learning environment where you blend fun with realism, it does so much. It allows us to allows our students to communicate better. It allows them to work collaboratively. It helps them to evaluate themselves better. They're working with feedback because they're working with groups, learning from experience. They're managing themselves better, teaching them accountability, entrepreneurship, leadership. It's giving them self-confidence. It's teaching them to take the initiative, and it's giving them that joy in lifelong learning. We're instilling that in them. So there's so much cool stuff that comes out of this beyond the actual skills that we're teaching them. So here's what we're going to accomplish today. In this demo, I'm going to teach you by doing. I thought rather than actually tell you about Gamulation, it makes sense for you to actually experience it. Hopefully it will give you ideas that you can then take into the classroom to gamulate your classroom environment, and then also nurture a culture of play in the college and the institution as well. And then finally, I'm going to teach you the framework that I use. It's called Gotcha. Gotcha. I'm going to teach you that framework so that you can go ahead and start creating these on your own, at least start that process. Okay, so the name of this gamulation is called Picture Perfect. It is a design by communication game. So this game is teaching us, or teaching students, teaching you here in this room, how to be better communicators, the value of communication. And I'm not going to do it by giving you the 10-step process and how to be a better communicator. We're going to learn how to communicate by playing. These are skills, obviously, that students need. These are skills that we can always improve as adults, just getting better at our ability to really connect with people and understand that every single person has something to offer. Every single person has value and is an integral part of the team, and it influences the whole, whether we realize it or not. So here's the objective. Learn the importance of clear communication for effective project management. To learn the importance of each individual and what they play, the role they play in part of the team, and to learn the importance of leveraging your individual strengths. So right now, I want you to get into groups of 3. Quick as you can, please, groups of 3. Raise your hand if you are not in a group of 3 right now. 2 people, raise your hand straight up, please. Straight up, we've got 1 person that is not. 2 people? Great. Join another group, so there will be a group of 4. Are we good? So there should be only 2 people that are not part of a group. Is that correct? Raise your hand straight up so I can see. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3 people here. Are you part of a group? No. So but you weren't part of a group before, right? Because there's 3 of you, so you can join be a 3. Where? Raise your hand straight up. It makes this process much more efficient. Participation equals value. Okay, so you got 3. You got 2 over there, and this woman at the front. You got 3 back there. Okay, so you guys are going to join a 4. Great. Here's how this is going to work. The rules of play. So before you do this, give yourselves a name. One of you is going to be amazing, one of you is going to be brilliant, and another one is going to be extraordinary. If you're in a group of 4, be amazing or brilliant, that 4th person. Okay, don't be brilliant, just for today. Amazing, brilliant, or extraordinary. Work it out amongst yourselves, please. You got it? Amazing, raise your hand, please. Brilliant, raise your hand. Extraordinary, raise your hand. Thank you, great. So, amazing, I want you to stay in the room. Actually, before you do this, let's do this. Let's take you through the rules of play. Here's how this is going to work. Of course, this technology. Okay, amazing. I'm going to show you a design. You are the only people that can see this design. Your job is to communicate using your body language, non-verbal communication, using hand gestures alone, what that design is to brilliant. Look at brilliant. Make sure you know who brilliant is. Okay, you cannot make eye contact with extraordinary. So your only communication is to brilliant. I'm sorry, we're flipping ahead. Your only job is to communicate non-verbally. You cannot speak. You cannot draw the design in the air. You cannot gesture what that is. Your job is to simply communicate it through your body language. Brilliant. Your job is to take that design, that information that you're getting from amazing, and describe it to extraordinary, using only words. You cannot use your body language. You cannot look at extraordinary. You cannot kind of poke them or tap them on the shoulder and go, no, 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 that's exactly what. You cannot see them. You cannot see each other, right? So you're going to be standing, your extraordinary is going to have their back to you. You cannot make eye contact with them. You can question amazing at any time. If you don't feel that their nonverbal communication is clear to you, you can ask them questions. Amazing, you cannot answer with your words. You have to respond through gestures. And then finally, extraordinary. Your job is to recreate that design that you're hearing brilliant communicate to you on a piece of paper. I'm hoping there are pieces of paper that you guys have available on the table. You don't? Okay, we're going to give them to you in just a second. Okay, so your job is to recreate that design. You cannot look at brilliant. You cannot get feedback from brilliant and say, is this right? Am I on the right track? So you're standing with your back. You can sit down if you want on a chair, but make sure that the other two are behind you. So you're hiding your design, and you're designing that. You cannot talk the entire time. You cannot ask questions. You cannot reveal your design to brilliant or amazing at any time for feedback. Is everyone clear on the rules? Okay. So right now, I want amazing to stay in the room. Brilliant and extraordinary, please leave the room. Oh, I don't have the image here. Here we go. Here's the image. I would suggest you take a quick picture if you have it on your phone, because once they come in, this is gone. And I want you to really pay attention to the detail. Not just what it is, but all the nuances in the photograph too. Everyone got it? We're going to bring them back in. Pay attention to all the details, all the little things that you see. Let me know when you're done, and we're going to bring them back in. We're good? Say no if you still need a second. We're good. Okay, so from the moment they walk in now, no talking, right? So 10 minutes, you're going to have 10 minutes to be able to describe this, put this all together, and then at that point, we'll find out what happens. Okay, so let's bring them back in, please. Just describe the design, but she'll hear you. You're not looking at her drawing, by the way. Right. So just describe it. There you go. Describe it to me.
Okay. Round, oblong, stem. Crystal, bubbly.
Brilliant. Make sure you're not looking at extraordinary. Keep describing it.
Okay.
That's all you got?
Got any more detail?
Glass.
You're not describing what it is, remember? Just the detail.
Okay. Liquid inside.
Is that right?
It's good. You like it? Woohoo!
Okay, keep adding the detail. Brilliant. Make sure you're not looking. You're just describing it without actually looking at extraordinary. You can't see what they're doing. You're not pointing to it. You're not drawing it in the air. No cutting corners. How you guys doing over here? Got it down?
They're doing theirs.
They're doing theirs,
I got my
okay.
back.
Extraordinary.
Got it, you're waiting. Okay. Let's see what happens. Let's see how we're doing for time. Oh no. Got 5 minutes. 5 minutes to completion in excellence with all the detail that you can muster.
Yeah, good job. We could be wrong.
We could absolutely be wrong, but that's what he did. How did he?
Keep it quiet. Keep it quiet. We're going to discuss it in just a moment. Keep adding detail. How far can you push it? We want this to be an accurate representation of what Amazing saw. Using your body language. Gestures. We're not pointing to things. We're not drawing them in the air. How can you demonstrate it? How can you tell a story or paint a picture somehow? So that you can communicate with clarity. Take a couple more minutes. Couple more minutes. And we want a finished product. If you're done, keep it quiet. Brilliant, you're allowed to ask questions. Amazing has to respond through their body language, but you can ask them questions if their communication is not clear. Let's talk about it. Okay, first of all, how was that? Awful. Terrible. Yes. Oh my God, give me some more. Hard. The communication was hard. Which role were you playing?
Amazing.
You were amazing. Okay, so tell me what was hard about that.
You just want to do it for, just want to tell them what you couldn't.
You just want to tell them. You just want to give your students the answers. Just get it already. Why didn't you get it? All right. Patience. What else? What else did you get? Anything else that came up for you? It was fun. Frustrating. It was engaging. Challenging. Tell me about the challenge. Who said challenging? Tell me about the challenging. Hold on, let's hear it, please.
No, I mean, you're trying to, because what you're trying to describe, you just want to tell them, but because of the rules, you can't. And it's not necessarily that difficult, but then is it something that's common?
Okay. So you've got rules that are restricting you from doing something that technically should be easy. Because that doesn't happen in work, does it? We don't have those kinds of limitations where you actually have to work remote, or you have to talk to somebody on the phone or send them an email and hope and pray that they interpret it in the way that you want them to. Of course, that never happens. Right, so that's challenging. Okay, let's kind of look at some of these designs. Who feels like they want to share? We can do a little assessment here. Let's take a look over here. Okay, so first of all, what was the design? Let's take a look. Let's take a look and see what. Raise your hand if you got a champagne glass. Raise your hand if you didn't get a champagne glass. You did not get a champagne glass. What did you get over there? Did you get a champagne glass? You did. Did anyone not get a champagne glass? What did you get? What did you get? Okay, let's take a look over here, right? Let's take a look over here. Okay. Ooh, can I scooch in? There we go. Okay, let's take a look at this first of all. So we got, by the way, attention, this is a learning experience, okay? This is not judging you. This is an opportunity for us to learn the lessons because I guarantee she's not the only one. We're going to be walking around, all right? So this is an opportunity for us to learn. Okay, so she got a mirror and a bow. A mirror that's on a stand. There was no glass in the mirror, so she got a mirror. So she got the frame part, which is interpreted as a mirror, and she got a bow. And the bow is independent of the glass, okay? So not quite the outcome we had in mind. Here we've got a champagne glass. I'll do my best to share it with you. A champagne glass. The bow's there. It's missing the frame. Who got that that the champagne's tilted? Anyone got that? Nobody got that. Who got bubbles in the champagne? Couple of people spotted the bubbles. Few bubbles there. Who got the bow? Did everyone get the bow? You guys got the bow? Okay, good. Who got the frame?
I got it, but not around the glass.
You got the frame, but you didn't. Here, let me give you that back.
You're amazing, Rosinski.
Okay, so what did you get? You got the frame, but not?
Well, I have a drunk person toasting out of a glass in a frame. I heard something about a frame, but I
Okay.
was cheating. I was listening to them.
Oh, okay, so here's this. Okay, so she got the frame. So she understood, so there's context, so we have context here. She was also listening to another group because the communication within her own group maybe wasn't as clear, or maybe somebody else's voice was louder. We don't know what was going on, right? So there's a louder voice going on, right? So there's conflicting information that we're often getting. That happens all the time in the workplace. We're getting, whoever's voice is the loudest often gets heard the most, even if the information they're conveying isn't always accurate. How often does that happen? Who else? Let's see. Anyone else feeling bold?
We had the glass, you just didn't get the bow until after the end.
You didn't get the bow till the end? You got it. Okay, let's take a look at this one. So this is real pretty. Okay, you've got bubbles, you've got a bow, this bow is right at the base. So attention to detail. How important is the detail in the end product and actually conveying what your customer wants? What do your students want? If if they're talking on Instagram and you're on Snapchat, you're kind of missing the thing here, missing the boat here. So that attention to detail, so that you're really communicating in a way that lands for your students. Okay, great job. What else? Who else? Let's see. Let's take a look at this. So this is interesting. So we've got is this somebody sleeping? Somebody sleeping. So you got somebody sleeping, a body without, a face without a body. You've got a bottle of some kind. You've got an element of celebration. You've got a glass. It's actually more of a wine glass than it is a flute kind of.
Knew that it was alcohol.
Some kind of glass, and there's alcohol involved. Okay, so the level of detail, exactly what the glass was, missing the frame, missing that it's like right there, a little bit off center, taking up majority of the space. So the essence is there. It's kind of like, you're teaching engineering, kind of, sort of, but the detail is kind of not there. You're teaching marketing, but you're missing the fact that you're including digital marketing, for example. You're just missing these key elements that the students really need to get. Awesome. What else? Who else? See over here. You said you found it hard. Let's see. What happened here?
We missed the mark.
You missed the mark. Tell us how you missed the mark.
Isn't this what this was all about?
You missed the entire scope of the project.
Because I thought it was the whole 10 minutes, and then
Just with those two. I kept telling them.
she was, but
I couldn't look at them, so
we didn't
I kept
get
saying.
Okay. So project wasn't completed because one person, and here, this is really important, when one person or two people or just members of the team are missing key parts of the entire project, that's going to affect the outcome.
Yes.
That's going to affect the outcome. That means that it affected the end result because she wasn't able to finish what she was doing. So one person it was time management. Could you get the thing done in 10 minutes? If you have 60 minutes, great, you've got a whole bunch of time. But can you manage your time wisely knowing that you only have 10 minutes? How many of you thought of having a timer? How many of you sat back after 3 minutes and said, well, I'm done. I've got my champagne flute, I'm done. But how can I raise the bar and raise the level of excellence with which I'm delivering? Because I've got an additional 7 minutes, or am I going to do the bare minimum to get by? Right, food for thought. One more. One more. Let's hear from you. Thank you. Okay. So this is good. We have bubbles.
We didn't get the slant.
It's not intentionally lazy.
Or the frame.
Okay, so you got bubbles. You got the bow. I mean, it's there. It's missing a few details. You don't get the slant. You didn't get it. It was, it was landscape. But it's there. The essence of it is there, right? Bow's a little bit higher up. It's a flute versus kind of that triangular look. But you've got that.
That'll have a drawing ability. It's supposed to be.
Right, but that happens as well. It's like, do you have the skill level to be able to complete the project? And if not, making sure that this is about putting the right people on the right seats on the bus. Okay? If someone doesn't have drawing ability and you've got that, and it's just an analogy, but how many people do we have doing things and they don't actually have that ability to communicate or convey the end result? Thank you. Okay, we'll stop there. You get the idea. That was you sharing. So the debrief is an opportunity to connect with your students and get from them what their take on things are. We're not just one-way, it's not just a one-way street of communication. Here I'm going to tell you, I could easily stand here and tell you all the keys to amazing communication, how to be a great communicator. But the chances are you're not going to change anything because our behavioral patterns are so ingrained in us that we're going to do exactly what we did when we woke up that morning. Nothing's going to be different. But unless we take that time to actually reflect, we can ask questions, we can ask them what their ahas were, what challenges did they experience, what did they learn, what did they observe, how do you connect this to their goals? How is this going to help them to be better communicators in their work going forward? When we know that our only mode of communication is going to be talking to somebody, but we can't actually see them. That happens all the time. We've got to get on the phone, by email, right? The challenge of just being able to communicate, like you know what it is, but you can't just, how do you use your body language to actually communicate it so someone understands what the heck you're talking about, right? How do you connect that? How do you see that happening in the real world? When they start making those kinds of connections, that's when the lessons start to land. And then what are they going to do differently going forward? How are they going to be better as a result of this exercise, what are you going to do differently? How much more diligent are you going to be? And that all comes through your debrief. When you actually take the time to just assess the results and people are learning, they're sharing, they're reflecting, that's when the revelations come. And that's when we start to actually do things differently. So as with all things, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You've got to have a plan in place of actually how you're going to bring these, bring this lesson into an environment that makes sense for the lesson that you want to share. So I want to give you that framework right now. And it's called Gotcha. It's Gamulation Creation Framework. So the first is the genre, right? So think about, big picture, what is it that you want to communicate to your students? What big lesson are they learning? Are they learning how to win-win? Like what it's like to work part of a team? What would this be? Would this be win-win? If one person doesn't do their part in this exercise, the entire project falls apart. Yes or no? Yes. So this is win-win. We are teaching our students how they need to be able to work together so that the entire end result happens in excellence. The other option, ranking, more of a competitive element where people or teams are working to get first place, second place, third place, and so on. Zero sum, the idea that if I win, you're going to lose. That's it. That's the only option, win or lose. That's war. You're going to war with this. That happens in business. Is that the lesson that we want to teach them, how to operate at that kind of level? And attrition, the idea that the more pieces of the pie that I eat, that means there's less pie for everybody else to go around, right? So squashing the competition, eliminating everybody else's piece of the pie so that you get to win. So those are all possible options. They're all scenarios they're going to experience in the workplace. What's the overall genre that you're going to be communicating? 2, what's your objective? What's the outcome that you want to get? Are you teaching them negotiation, how to write contracts? Are you teaching them how to plan, strategic thinking? Are you teaching them how to be more brainstorming? This was about communication. So we're teaching them how to communicate. So what's the end goal that you've got in mind? The third is the theme. So the theme operates on multiple levels. The theme can be, it's possibly set in a historical setting. You might want to theme it that way. This is like a camp setting right here. Do you want to add a theme to it? If you've watched the TEDx talk that I did, I talk about the perfect pizza. That's set in Sardinia. Right, so I have Italian music, and I've got costumes, and I've got pizza, and it's like that whole Italian theme going on. So you might decide to put it in a particular setting. Maybe you've got to go and research and document it as a result, but that might add a level of fun and interest to the gamulation. Another way you can theme it is through music. You can add music that's going to support the environment. You can add props. You can add costume to it. And another way that you can theme it is by role play. So you might decide in one of your scenarios that you might want to take on a particular persona. In the Perfect Pizza, I take on that persona of the mayor, who's demanding accountability from all the people that are building a pizza business. The game's around building a business and teaching people how to do that. You might have role play. Somebody could be playing the role of an accountant doing the numbers. If you're doing financing, somebody could be a timekeeper. The idea is that you can also give people the experience of stepping into these different roles. So now they're learning different skills beyond. They're getting a much more broader education beyond that specific skill they're learning. They're learning these complementary skills too. Fourth is the challenge. What's the challenge? How are you challenging them? If your goal is to teach communication, you can teach them by telling them how to communicate, or you can make it challenging for them. Put them in an environment where it's difficult for them to communicate. Now things get interesting. When you take away their voice, when you take away their ability to see the person, when you take away their ability to hear another person, all these elements, the rules are what make it challenging. So what rules of engagement, what rules of play can you introduce so that you are making it challenging for your students? Because it's the challenge that is going to force them to say, oh my gosh, I thought I was a great communicator, but then I had this going on. Then I had this challenge, and now they're stretching themselves. Now they're out of the comfort zone, and that's where the learning takes place. Your fifth are your homies. Who are your team members? Who are the people that you've got on your side that are going to help you to deliver this in excellence? So this could be other staff members that you enroll. You could help them to be part of it, especially when you get games that are more complex. For this particular one, if I had teams around me, what I could have done, and I actually had Melanie helping me out a little bit here, but you've got people, making sure that everyone's got props, people have got paper. You can make sure you have, the larger groups particularly. I could have people who I briefed ahead of time, so they know what the rules are, and now they're going around the groups and making sure that people aren't cheating. They aren't just kind of like somebody just looking over their shoulder and just making sure they're staying by things, going around and answering questions that people might have so that there's clarity, right? So you could have people making sure that you do that. So who are your team players? You can get your students involved in this too. Brief some of your students, and now that you're teaching them accountability, now you're teaching them to step into leadership roles. So you're allowing them to be part of that facilitation process, and again, now they're seeing learning from a whole other perspective. And then finally, the activity. What is the activity that you are doing? How is it being executed? Are you going to be asking them to build something? It might be construction involved. Is there accounting or an e-commerce sort of element to it? Are they building things? Is there leadership involved? Is there some people that are asked to step up and lead an entire group? All these different areas. Is it communication? Is it role play? What's the specific activity that you're asking them to do? How is it being executed? And the important part of this activity is including reflection time, including debrief time. If we just have the activity by itself, it is meaningless. It just becomes, hey, we're just having fun. Here we're just having fun. The debrief, the time, giving them time to reflect, extracting the lessons from it, so that everyone can learn and share and get those aha moments. That's where the magic happens. Any questions? Got time for one or two quick questions? Cool. All right. So just think in your mind's eye right now, your biggest lesson from today. What did you learn? Just take a moment to just think about it. And then think about what you're going to do differently. What one step are you going to do going forward that is going to help you drive innovation in your specific role, in your specific department? And just take a moment to just share that with the person next to you. Go. Take about 15 seconds. What are you going to do? So you've got some accountability here. You want your students, you want to hold them accountable for results. What one thing are you going to do differently? You're going to walk out of here and do differently. What did you learn? What was your biggest lesson? Okay. Okay. So here's what I want to leave you with this. You want to do this one thing next. You want to do this one thing next. Play is the birthplace of all innovation. It is the starting point. Just being more playful, thinking out of the box, getting in the sandbox, just daring to come up with new ideas, daring to test things out. We often think we need to be equipped. We need to have the time. We need to have the resources. We need to have everything perfect before we need to make a move. Let's just be agile instead. Let's just go for it. Do whatever we can. Move the needle just 1 or 2 inches instead of waiting for the entire 10 inches. Perfection versus momentum. Let's not wait till we've got everything just right. Let's just get some momentum. Let's just make the wheels turn. It's those little increments. If every single person here just does one thing that you committed to, the change will be extraordinary. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, I think Henry Ford was right. You will do whatever you decide right now going forward. Here's the thing. Stay curious, stay imaginative, stay weird, be a little happy, be a little crazy, be outside the box, be playful. That's the only thing you've got. And it's these qualities that have created the standard in education today. So take this, go forward with it, move the needle. Gamulate. Thank you.